Right now, something incredible is happening inside the U.S. Air Force. A bomber that was supposed to retire, a Cold War aircraft built more than 40 years ago, has suddenly become one of the most dangerous strike platforms on Earth. The aircraft is the legendary Rockwell B1B Lancer. And after a new upgrade, this bomber could carry up to 36 missiles at once. Not just ordinary missiles, but potentially hypersonic weapons capable of traveling over 5 times the speed of sound. To put that into perspective, one single aircraft could launch a missile barrage powerful enough to overwhelm the air defenses of entire nations. The Pentagon calls it a temporary capability boost. Military analysts call it a strategic game changer. And America's adversaries? They're watching very closely. Because what's happening to the B1B Lancer right now could completely reshape the future of air warfare. The bomber that refused to die. To understand why this matters, we need to go back decades. The B-1 program began during the Cold War. The United States wanted a bomber that combined the payload of the B-52, the speed of a supersonic jet, and the ability to penetrate Soviet defenses. The result was the B-1, but the version that entered service in the 1980s, the B-1B Lancer, was optimized for low-level penetration and massive payload capacity. It could carry 75,000 pounds of weapons. That made it one of the heaviest-hitting bombers ever built. Pilots quickly gave it a nickname, the Bone. For decades, the Bone became America's conventional strike workhorse. It flew combat missions over Iraq, supported troops in Afghanistan for nearly 2 decades, and launched precision strikes across the Middle East. Few aircraft in the world could match its combination of speed, range, and firepower. But after years of intense operations, the aircraft began to wear down. Maintenance costs increased. The Air Force started planning for its retirement. A new stealth bomber was already on the horizon, Northrop Grumman B21 Raider. The B21 would eventually replace both the B1 and the B2. So the B1B seemed destined for the scrapyard, until engineers discovered something unexpected. The discovery that changed everything. While studying ways to extend the bomber's service life, engineers realized something important. The B1B had 6 external hardpoints that had been sealed decades earlier. Originally, these pylons were designed to carry heavy weapons externally. But after arms control agreements ended the bomber's nuclear role, those pylons were permanently closed. Now, they're being reopened. Through a program called the External Heavy Stores Pylon Initiative, the Air Force is upgrading the aircraft to carry weapons outside the fuselage again. That means the B-1B can now combine internal weapons bays, external pylons, and dramatically increase its firepower. Before the upgrade, a B-1B could carry about 24 standoff missiles internally. After the upgrade, that number jumps to 36 missiles, 1 aircraft, 36 precision weapons. That's the kind of firepower usually associated with entire squadrons of aircraft. The hypersonic factor. But the real game changer is what those missiles could be. The Air Force has been testing a new class of weapons called hypersonic missiles. One of the most talked about systems is the AGM-183 ARRW. This missile travels at Mach 5 or faster. That's over 3,800 miles per hour. At those speeds, traditional air defense systems struggle to react. Interceptors often can't catch them, and radar tracking becomes extremely difficult. Now imagine a B-1B carrying 30 or more hypersonic weapons. If launched in a coordinated strike, they could overwhelm even the most advanced defensive networks on Earth. Military planners call this a saturation attack. And the B-1B might soon be one of the most effective platforms ever built to deliver one. A naval nightmare. This upgrade also has huge implications for naval warfare. The B-1B can carry the Long-Range Anti-Ship Missile, or LRASM. These missiles are designed to hunt and destroy heavily defended naval fleets. With the new pylons, a single B1B could launch a massive anti-ship barrage from hundreds of miles away. Imagine this scenario. A B1B flying from Guam launches dozens of anti-ship missiles toward an enemy carrier strike group. Within minutes, that fleet faces a swarm of incoming weapons. For any Navy on Earth, that's a nightmare scenario. Why this upgrade matters right now. The timing of this upgrade isn't accidental. The U.S. military is currently facing what planners call the bomber gap. Older bombers are retiring. The new B-21 is still ramping up production. That means the total number of available bombers temporarily decreases. Upgrading the B-1B helps fill that gap. It keeps a powerful strike platform operational while the next generation arrives. And there's another factor: cost. Operating a B-1B costs about $63,000 per flight hour. That's cheaper than the B-52 and dramatically cheaper than the stealth bomber Northrop B-2 Spirit. For the price of one B-2 mission, the Air Force could launch multiple B-1B strike sorties. With the new missile capacity, those missions could deliver even greater firepower. The global reaction countries around the world are paying attention. China's military analysts have already discussed the B-1B upgrade publicly. Their biggest concern? Hypersonic weapons launched from long-range bombers. If those missiles are fired from thousands of miles away, defending against them becomes extremely difficult. Russia faces similar challenges. Even the most advanced air defense systems were never designed to stop dozens of hypersonic weapons arriving at once. For America's allies, however, the upgrade sends a reassuring message. It shows that U.S. air power remains capable of delivering massive conventional firepower anywhere in the world.